Hello and welcome to episode 100 of This Week in BJJ. I can't believe it's already been 100 episodes. On today's show, I'm going to talk about a couple new events coming up, a few new products, and a special guest, Shawn Williams. Okay, before we get too much into the show, let's look at a clip of some of the highlights of the first 99 episodes of This Week in BJJ. And special guest, Romulo Bahal, three-time world champion and a good friend of mine. How you doing today, Romulo?
Doing great as well. Very good feeling to be here, after the tournament.
Our grand opening, free seminar will be nice. Will be so nice. So it's gonna be July 1st, 1 p.m. We are gonna show you how to do the leg drag pass from the spider guard. So I grab the collar, I put my hand down beside of his head.
Being comfortable at any position you're at. Side control. I was in side control, I remember, and I remember kind of getting a little startled. I'm like, oh, whoa, Marfa's got, side control on me. He's got 3 point. Oh, wait a minute. This is the 10 minutes. It's all good.
And as you could guess, we're also joined today by a very special guest, Eddie Bravo, a guy who I've learned a lot from over the years.
Every transition is unique. Their reactions to what you're doing. I mean, bam, everything's so lightning quick, that takes forever. So
what we're going to be looking at today is a sweep and pass combination from the half guard. Okay, so we're going to start off in a traditional sort of half guard position, one high knee, hands blocking up on the shoulder here.
Probably the guy you learned the most from, Fernando Terere.
Yeah.
For the guys that don't know, I think a lot of people would be surprised of the people that were training with him at that time. Who were your training partners during that time of your life?
Like a lot of good guys, And that time, Lucas Lepre was purple belt, and I was like brown to black. Lucas Lepre, Ruben Charles was brown belt that time. Michael Lange, he went there like a couple times a week. Ramon Lemos, Lucas Leite trained a little bit with us as well.
So as soon before the guy turns all the way, I like to hold, kind of his shoulder here, right? So when the guy turns,
And it was funny, like Eric Van der Leyen, I was hitting the technique on every single person at the school. And one day he asked the guy, "Man, are you dumb?" He's doing this technique over and over against you, like every day. You cannot figure it out, you're so dumb. It's like, nobody ever seen that technique before. That was like early 2003.
I cannot name one guy in Jiu-Jitsu that I ever fought that felt the same. I can mention Roger, but Roger's a little different again because he's a bigger guy. It's like you push off nothing. And all of a sudden there's this amount of sand on the top of you. Sal is more like a brick wall that you can't push. Roger is more like maybe a sandbox that if you push, all of a sudden there's sand all over you.
They get out there and they get all hyped up and they're like, yeah, Shawn's got his belt, we're going to whip him, And so they run out there and swing the belts too. But then I'm like, just wait till it's your birthday. You're going to go down the corridor too. And they're like, yeah, okay. And so you got to gauge the child, right? Because some of the kids I got, they're like tough. So you can whip them kind of hard. And I do. And then some of the kids, they're pussies. You know that if you hit them too hard, they're going to cry. So you don't want that to happen. So you just hit them and they get the feeling of it, they get the vibe, and then everybody hugs you in. So it's really cool. It's togetherness thing, right?
Always make sure your legs in between his arms, foot on the biceps, make him walk. Now I let it go one grip. Go over his knee.
I go to the academy. I always go to the academy and try to come back out of the mat with something new. Even if it's a turn point or even if it's a hip turn. I know that I did it and I know that it worked or didn't work. And that knowledge comes in my register, So I always try to improve myself to be as good as I can ever be, not to beat someone specifically, because this is down to strategy.
When your partner turns to his side here, I come here, I trap his forearm here. Now here, from this position, I hold on my biceps here and locked my arm in like this tight. Now from this control, I go a little bit to the north-south. Now I slide my knee down, put my weight. Then I come here. Now I just turn. That's it.
That's like the closest thing we get to.
We work our MMA cage defense against the walls in class. I'm always using the walls, using my cage defense.
Walls. We have ropes at our gym. You can like hang from those.
Swinging flying triangles. I tried to hit one on Mike Carpenter.
We'll start here. Now circle behind me. All right. What I've been doing is going boom, here. And now, get creative here, guys. What do you think you're gonna do? I'm probably gonna try to start taking this back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, relax. You're gonna use your hand. Use your hands if you want. You use your hand already. Come on, man. Why doesn't it work? What I did different than you is invisible, but it works.
What was the jiu-jitsu scene like in 1990 in America?
1990 in America was an incredible amount of talent, guys, here. But we just got together. It was just us. We pretty much got together in the garage every day, and we had spent a really hard time financially. It was pretty much people was delivering pizza, a Domino's pizza, and bring pizza to us at the garage quite often. That was kind of our meal, and of course, Rickson was cooking, and Limon was very good too, cooking, doing some Gracie diet meals, and Grandmaster Eddie was there too, cooking. So it was a good core of people there.
Well, I think the most successful people in the sport are just the people that stick with it. You know, that famous saying, a black belt is just a white belt that never quit. Pretty much remains true, especially in a competitive sense too. I've seen so many talented people just be not successful for a period of time and then just not be into it anymore, not want to do it, or maybe they stick with jiu-jitsu but they don't want to compete anymore. And I think that's a big part of it, is just consistently challenging yourself.
You should have a way to avoid the grip, should have a way to avoid the sweep. You should have, if you don't, that's how you learn. Say, please, how do I do this? How do I escape? How I should be defending myself here and there? And that's it's part of the process of learning a good technique.
Obviously, seeing the rubber guard and stuff like that reminded me a lot of the stuff we're doing breakdancing. We're doing, say someone's doing like a windmill, we'll put our leg over our head and do a windmill, just to switch it up and make it more original and different. Not everybody could do that. And I look at Eddie Styles like that. It's like, he is jiu-jitsu, the evolution of jiu-jitsu in my eyes. You know what I mean? That's what we were in breakdancing. We're the evolution of breakdancing. We try to add our own flavor and try to evolutionize what was already there. And that's what Eddie did. So when I saw that, I was like, man, it makes sense to me. Just once I met him, we talked a little bit, and we weren't even talking about jiu-jitsu. We were talking about music.
Now look here. Open, okay? Now I'm gonna pass the guard.
Simple.
Nobody believes that it's possible, but it is. But the point is that position. You see there. When you go there that way, you see my knees are always going this way. You may switch and put a hook there. Yes, that's right. So here, the same thing. You go forward, not forward, because then I make pressure and I keep control instead of trying to escape. I don't want to escape. I want to involve you that you're gonna give me the way to escape. See my shoulder, and then after I involve his hip. Doesn't worry about the grip. Think about no gi. I need to hold his hip, his waist. Yes. Because you see, I can't find his ankle from here. But when I bring him, I find. And when I find, I bring his ankle to my butt, so he's coming outside. That's the first position I want to show. Keeping his legs between my legs. A good drill here for see if you understand the position. I always tell my students, right now for you learn that game, don't worry about the sweep. Worry about get here and control from here. Try escape your leg. Sometimes I even hold it here more like a no-gi. Try escape. Yeah. So then from here, we're gonna sweep that way or inside. When I go inside, I don't turn him like that. see my foot. I step on the mat, I bring my foot to my butt, and I enter my hip.
So we have 2 events coming up in April. The first one is the Marianas Open. I'll be flying out to Guam to commentate on this event that's going to attract a lot of big names. This is going to be the biggest event on Guam ever in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. A couple of the confirmed names are Felipe Pena and Keenan Cornelius. A lot more names are going to be announced soon. It's going to be a fun event for sure. That's going to be April 16th, and the live broadcast will be on BudoVideos.com. Now, the very next weekend, April 24th, is EBI 6. And EBI, you know, is a super exciting event. This one is going to have the largest possible cash prize ever, $50,000 if you submit all your guys along the way to the finals. And there's going to be 16 guys in here. This is the open weight division. We have Eddie Cummings, Gary Tonin, Lucas Rocha, Dean Lister, Vinny Magalhães, and a bunch of other beasts. We'll be announcing a couple other names in the coming weeks, but that's going to be a fantastic event. That event will be held on UFC's Fight Pass. Okay, time for new products. 5 new products to talk about today. The first one was the guest on last week's show. This is Felipe de la Monica, better known as Fudao. This is his instructional on the reverse half guard. This thing is selling really well. It's available on DVD or on demand, coming soon to the App Store. But man, this position is amazing. Fudao goes over all of his best moves, sweeps, submissions from the reverse half guard. You're going to learn a lot on this instructional for sure. Next up is the 50-50 guard from Felipe Pena. Felipe Pena is an amazing competitor, and he knows how to get in, how to get out, how to submit from the 50-50. If you love the 50-50, this DVD is for you. If you hate the 50-50, this DVD is for you, because he's going to show you how to get out and submit from there. 50-50 is not only a position for the legs, but I guess it's a position from the arms as well. Wagner Rocha is a phenomenal competitor. If you've seen him at the 2015 ADCC, you know he can bring it. He is a very game competitor. He has a great Kimura game, and that's what he shows on this DVD. It's all on Kimuras. He calls it 50-50 of the arms. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet to find out exactly what that means, but he is a great teacher, and you're going to learn a lot about the Kimura in this one as well. Next up is an ebook by Roy Dean. We had Roy Dean's teacher, Roy Harris, on the show a few weeks back. And in this ebook, Roy talks all about his path to getting his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and beyond. He talks about opening up his academy in Bend, Oregon, and he talks about competing. It's a really interesting book. It's a little over 150 pages. It's only $10, available on BudoVideos.com, and it's a great, easy read. Finally, the Killing Joke Rash Guard. This is brought to you by Fusion FG. The guys have brought you a bunch of other brands, including Voltron and Street Fighter, a bunch of cool officially licensed products. And these rash guards look great. This is from the Killing Joke comic that was put out, what was it, late 80s? I think I remember reading it back in the day. Really cool, all over print and available in limited quantities. We got the last batch of them, so if you want to get one of these, now is the time to get it. Okay, now it's time for the interview with Shawn Williams. Shawn has been a great friend and a teacher. I've learned a lot from him over the years. As you probably know, we co-commentated so many events together. Shawn has a great mind for jiu-jitsu and a great way of delivering all the knowledge that he's acquired over the years. In this interview, we talk about Polaris coming up, where Gary Tonin is going to fight Rusamar Polaris. We talk about EBI 6, where also Gary Tonin and Eddie Cummings are going to fight. We talked about heel hooks, and Shawn also teaches a really nice single leg takedown to a guard pass with some great details that only Shawn can convey. So here you go. Enjoy the interview with Shawn Williams. Shawn, thanks for coming in today.
Man, thanks for having me, Jake.
It's always good to see you. It's fun catching up, talking technique and everything, but I haven't seen you for a while because of that guy. Or is it that guy?
Yeah, it's this guy. Yep, this one was before, now it's this one. Yeah, I had a gnarly injury. You know, as we were talking earlier, you know, I didn't do anything. that's the sad part. I wish I had a better story. Like, you know, 6 guys jumped me on. Anyway, the MCL, that's the medial collateral ligament on the inside, got tore off the bone, and with it, the meniscus tore pretty much straight through the middle. And it's been a lengthy road because apparently, you know, the MCL heals on its own. Like, so way back, it was kind of interesting too. Way back in college, I studied kinesiology and exercise science, and we read about a study where these saps got into a study, and they cut their MCL and their LCL with knife. They went in, did a knife, they cut them in two, sewed them back up, and did a study on them, and they heal by themselves, so they heal on their own. And so it was interesting to see, because I went to Georgia's doctor, who referred me to a very good doctor, and that thing was just like, it's just hanging off the bone. So on the picture, the MRI, it was just hanging there. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. And then they told me, yeah, we never do surgery on the MCL. It's quite out of character. It doesn't really need it. It heals on its own. And it made me go, wow, that really is true. And so, it's been 4 months, and I just went last week to get the follow-up, and it's what they had called scarred down. So now it's reattached itself to the bone. And I had PRP. I don't know if you've ever had that or heard of it, but I had that to help the healing process, to help the scar tissue. I think it helps prevent some of the scar tissue as it heals. So that's healed, but the meniscus is obviously still torn, and that doesn't heal on its own. And so now I've got to up physical therapy. I got on the mats 2 days ago for the first time in 4 months, and we'll see how this month goes and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I've had an MCL injury as well, and I was out for about 4 weeks waiting for that to heal. But it seems like if you're training hard, it's just a matter of time before you have a knee injury. It seems like the most common jiu-jitsu injury is probably the knee.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think there's anything that people can do to minimize knee injuries?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. And this whole process has been sort of a re-education for me, because I've been sort of out of the fitness and the kinesiology world for a long time, more, obviously into the jiu-jitsu community. But the whole physical therapy was about reactivating the muscles that protect the knee. And you forget about those things. So not that the muscles, not that you don't have the muscles as athletes, but if you're not using those muscles, they basically don't fire right anymore. So things like the glute medius, that's one of the big ones that protects the knee. We did a whole bunch of little exercises that are all along the hip and the groin to help stimulate the activation of that muscle group, and that helps take away some of the alleviation of the knees pulling. And so I think if they just told me, like, hey, listen, you need to do these before you train every day now. Like, it's so a systematic warm up that is activating those muscles particular, because if we just use the big muscles of the body, those tend to basically fade away. They just stop working after time, because the bigger muscles are always firing, and your little muscle groups are sort of fall asleep, especially as we get older. And then, of course, one of the things that really helped turn my MCL pain around was massage and soft tissue work. And I had kind of forgotten how important that is. So, rolling out maybe a massage, depending on how much you're training, maybe a monthly massage, maybe a weekly massage if it's in the budget. But working on the fascia and everything around the knees and the hips to keep the joints healthy.
Yeah, for sure. When we're, guys like us who train hard, we have to have some kind of health program in place, whether it's chiropractic, massage, or yoga, or rolling, anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, in George's camp, he every week is like a 2-hour intense massage. He does it every single week.
This is George St. Pierre?
Yeah, when he's training camp, it's part of the training camp. So, and I think they always say the recovery is the most important part of the training camp. Is especially with high-level athletes, they're going to do the time, they're going to train hard. It's fun for us and fun for those guys. But the recovery is the part that's like, it's not so much fun. You don't want to stay around stretching, but I think it's arguably the most important, especially as we get older.
Absolutely.